What is going down, YouTube family? It is your boy Zary, and before we get into the video, one thing I want to tell you is, if you are just starting this game and you are under level 15, make sure you're using my promo code. Down in the description of my video is a link if you're just finding this channel for the first time. Click that link to download Dragon Champions on iOS or Android. Once you do that, click the cog setting, wrong way, right there above me. Click that cog setting. Inside the cog setting, you are going to see the use promo code. Make sure you're clicking on that. When you're in the promo code, type in XMG gift. Hit the OK button and get $10 worth of free stuff. So with that being said, my YouTube family, enjoy the free stuff. Help support the channel. I love y'all. Enjoy the video. What is going down, my YouTube family? It is your boy Zary. We are here to talk a little patch notes. And I hope everybody out there is having a good week. You know, Monday morning, I was ready to go make a video. I was going to get up early before work, shoot a video, and got up with the dog, and the dog decided to fight a skunk. So that was interesting. And it stunk, and it sucked. But, so I hope you're having a better week than my week started. But we are here to talk a little patch. We got a new patch. Update 1.4.99. Now, we're going to go over everything. We're going to try to make this as fast as possible. We're going to jump into my actual account and kind of show you some things. Now, I was trying to get this video done and shot before the patch went live, but it went live today, so I figured let's talk about it. So, for everybody out there who doesn't read the updates or the patch notes, here it is in all of its glory. It says, "Greeting champions, in this update we will bring more playable content for you to enjoy. The new challenges 17 and 18 put your heroes and skills to the test and be one of the first champions to beat the new levels. We are consistently working on improving and refreshing our existing content as well. This time we are giving more love to loot in classic campaigns. Completing a certain act or a whole campaign is quite a big deal and worth a special reward, isn't it?" And I'm just going to stop there, and it is. I like how they implemented this. I think it is well done. When you first log in and you go to your campaign screen, you get all the rewards for where you are at. So that is something really, really cool. And, I play Raid Shadow Legends quite a bit, so that's kind of how they do it. As you progress through the campaign, you get more and more rewards, and that's how it worked. That's what we thought, and thus added prizes in reaching these milestones: hero stones, runes, crystal scrolls, gold, and more. Those who have completed the campaign will get Wukong hero stones as a reward, and we'll go over that when we get there. Besides that, we bring a number of changes to the runes. We optimize the rune menu based on feedback and reports. We'll jump in and we'll take a look at that. We also gave some love to the rune campaign and hope you enjoy it. Plus, we've added new 6-star runes and an all-new rune chest. Pump the brakes on that. We'll get to it. Trust me. Another batch of heroes is getting abilities 7 and 8, so we'll go over those. And we continue implementing... Just want to make sure I hit the record button. And I did. Improvements, user interface balances, and stuff like that. So general, they've added a new 17 and 18 levels to the challenges. I did my challenges this morning, so unfortunately I didn't know it was going to drop. I didn't wait to do the challenges, so I don't know how hard they are. But more challenges is nice, right? I really can't complain, so I'm okay with that. Selena, Mar, Zelenar, Mortha, Kelrin, Lake, Yogi, and Tromgar received 7 and 8 abilities. So let's jump over to my account and take a look at these champions and see where they're at. I like going over the T7s and T8s, give my initial first impression. But before we jump into that, one thing I do want to say is, since the last couple patches, Play Quantum has done a lot better job getting us more time to play test. So I was able to playtest some of this beforehand. So that is a real plus for me, is they're getting out at least a couple days beforehand so we can get in there and try to playtest some stuff around. So let's jump over to my account. We're going to start with Selena, and we're going to check them out. So Selena's first ability, her Dying Light. At tier 7, she gains 50% magic damage and 30% chance to inflict a tenacity decrease. So it takes it from a 200 ability with a 70% chance to, well, that should be 250. But anyways, okay, so there's a glitch. 250, and the tenacity decrease goes to the 1 potency tenacity check, so that's a lot better. Her Colossus healing. At tier 6, she had 280 targeted ally and a 20% extra to the of the target's maximum health. Here it is 340 and then 25%, so that's a single target heal. That's always good. We have the Amos Mirror. Here she has a tier 7 and tier 8, so she was at 400% to all allies. If the allies are afflicted by debuff, applies 2 random opposite buffs for the same duration. This is a big T7 because you get 480 and it removes 2 random debuffs and applies 2 opposite buffs. So instead of just flipping them, it's removing them and then flipping them. And then at tier 8, it removes 4. This is a huge dispel ability, and it really bumps up Selena for me as a usable character now. She's very readily available to get early in the game, and that is a big deal. Now, obviously, early in the game, you're not going to have tier 7 or tier 8, but if you get her and you put stuff into her, like I'm currently gearing her right now to gear 11, that is a big deal, and I really like that. Now, on her Reader of Secrets, here she copies 2 random buffs, but now she removes 2 random buffs from the enemy at the end of the turn and applies them to random allies. Applies Cheat Death instead if removes Taunt or Invisibility. That's huge. She has now become a passive dispeller, and I really like the T7s to Selena. Jumping over to Mar. Mar's basic ability, he just gains more damage. I hate this basic, how it's 290 to 350. Just put it in the middle somewhere, please. Put it at 320. End of discussion. Sometimes he can smoke people with his basic. I mean, you're still doing good damage at 290. I get it, but I hate that it fluctuates. You can't count on a consistent kind of hit. Figure out what you're going to hit and if you can kill somebody. His this will hurt real bad. At tier 6, he does 230 physical damage to all enemies. If this ability lands at least 4 crits, the cooldown is reset instantly. Tier 7, it takes it to 280 damage. Then here, it only requires 3 critical strikes at tier 8. So, and then 50% more damage. So, again, it's a lot to put in. Mar is kind of a lower end character, but he finds his way onto some of those battleground teams. But to tier 8 to only require 3 crits is nice, but I don't know if I'd rush out and do it, but it's not bad at all. His Rage ability at tier 6, he gains, the damage increase, crit chance increase, crit damage increase, recovers 50% turn meter. Tier 7, he recovers 60% of his turn meter, and then takes the cooldown from the initial cooldown. So you can use this on your second ability instead of having to wait 2 turns, so you can set him up much faster. Not bad at all. And then his passive ability, here he deals 1% more damage for every 2% of his missing health, and here it is 1%, so it's a 1-for-1 ratio. So his damage is increased quite a bit if he takes damage. So overall, like, Mar to me, it's like a B-, because you're increasing his damage. He's a primary damage dealer. Right here, this will hurt real bad. This requires 1 critical strike. Would be really nice if that was in a tier 7, but I understand why it's in tier 8. But overall, B-, not bad. Zelenar, basic ability, tier level 6. He does 280 magic damage and then 25% for each living totem. Here he does 340 and 30. So If you put him in the right comp when he drops those totems, increase of the damage there, really, really good. I like it. Here's his T7 and T8 on his Chain Lightning. At tier 6, it's 220, and then it decreases as it goes with 200, 180, 160, 140, blah, blah, blah. And he gets a 50% chance to inflict a tenacity decrease and a 20% chance to repeat this attack. Tier 7, 240, 220, down by 20 we go. He inflicts the tenacity decrease, so it takes it to 1 potency tenacity check, and then he gives himself a 30% chance. This T8 is actually pretty massive. The magic damage only goes up by 20%, but then that's more damage as you go down the line. And then it has a 40% chance to repeat the attack. That is awesome. This is a really, really good T8. This is one of my favorite moves for Zelenar because I've got it to go a couple times in a row, and I love it. His totem of the day, pretty much, we're not going to read this verbatim, but he summons one of his totems, you know, with 50% health and shield, 60% damage. Here, at tier 7, he still has the 50% health and shield. They gain 100% turn meter. That stays the same. Here, he summoned, well, it should go up here. This should be 60, 60, and 70, but it isn't reading right. So we got a couple glitches there. And, you know, for the totem of the day, this isn't a huge one because it all depends on what really drops. I mean, giving it more health and shield is nice, but I wouldn't be rushing out to do this. To me, that's not his strongest one. His passive ability, he gets health, shield, armor, crit chance, crit damage, and speed by 10%. If Mortha and Corcoran are on the battlefield, they get the same. And here, it is health, shield, armor, crit chance, crit damage, speed, and magic damage by 10%. So it's 10%, and then it's another 10% to magic damage. Okay, I mean, it helps. But I really feel that if you wanted to do Zelenar, his Chain Lightning and his Basic are the two best for me. Chain Lightning by far and away is the absolute best. So here we are over to Mortha. Now we're going to talk about Mortha a little bit later as well. But the tier 7 here adds 40% magic damage, 20% chance to deal piercing damage, which ignores the shield, and then a 25% chance to daze the enemy. So now it reads as 240 magic damage, 70% chance to deal shield piercing damage, and a 50% chance to daze. That is a pretty solid basic for sure. I mean, your magic damage is still, I mean, gear 13, it's still just 3,000. Or I'm at gear 11, sorry, wrong account. Still, pretty hefty basic though. Here at tier 7, her chain heal, 100% healing to the main target, 80% to the second, 50% to the third. Heals a 4th ally for 125 of Mortha's magic damage. This is really big because before it was always you got the 2 allies, you got the main target and the 2 allies. Now you're getting the main target and 3 allies. Not a mass heal, but definitely makes her more viable for sure. But she's still kind of a subpar character as of right now. Here we got on the personal curse, which is to me her best ability. You have the tier 7 and tier 8. So at tier 7 we get 50% more magic damage, tenacity decrease for 2 turns, 50% shield size. Got the same thing here. And then reduces max cooldown. That is massive. On a 3 turn now that you can spam this personal curse, this is really, really good because you're building back the shield. This is her best ability in my mind. So this is really a nice touch. And then at 8, you get an armor decrease, tenacity decrease, armor increase, and a tenacity increase for 1 more turn. So you get them for 3 turns now on a 3 turn cooldown, so you can keep that up all the time. And you're getting 70% magic damage and 70% shield. So that personal curse, the tier 8 and tier 7, is really, really good there. Shamanism is her passive ability. We get 5 more additional magic damage. So instead of 25 and then an additional 5 for each living orc in the party, now we get 10. So that's going to help out her kit, her heals. It's going to help out her personal curse. I really like her passive ability and her personal curse and her chain lightning. This is a really good... Is it going to make her super viable? No, not at all. But it's definitely going to make her playable, which is what these T7s and T8s should be doing. So overall, that's like a solid B for me. Definitely going to make Mortha fun to play around with. But again, I'm in no rush to get out there and use it. You know what I mean? Jumping over to Kelrin. Now, Kelrin, we got a tier 7 on his basic where he does 40% more physical damage. What a crappy T7. It's just, that is bad. Here on his dual challenge, before he was gaining taunt, tenacity for 2 turns and removing 2 debuffs, recovers 25% health. At tier 7, he gets taunt, tenacity, and armor increase for 2 turns, removes 2 debuffs, recovers 25% health, and shield equal to 10% of his maximum health. Really good, will help his survivability. At tier 8, we're seeing a full cleanse of himself. All of his debuffs are gone, and then he's giving himself 15% more shield. So again, we're seeing some glitches here, but the dispelling of debuffs, that's a really good addition to his taunt. His Gale Throw at tier 7, he's just getting more physical damage. And then his magic immunity, his passive ability, increases tenacity by 10% for each living mage or healer on the enemy team. So this was at 5%, so this, you got the 5% for each living elf in the party, and then the tenacity increase. Overall, Kelrin, to me, this one's like a D. I really don't like it. His taunting mechanism, if you're going to put the tier 8 in it, is way better. But his T7 on the Gale Throw and this is really just... He does okay damage for a defender, but he's not there to do damage. Alright, over to Lake. We have, on his basic ability, 60% more magic damage and a 30% chance to inflict that tenacity decrease. So, only goes through that 1 potency tenacity check. Okay, more damage on his basic. Alright. Refreshing Stream, tier 7 and tier 8. Gives himself 50% more magic damage and then 10% more magic damage for each stack removed. So he was at 40% more magic for each buff, for each burning stack, and removes 1 buff for each burning stack. Now we're seeing 50% more magic damage. That's big. That one's big. And then here it goes 320 overall magic damage, moves that up to 60% and removes 2 buffs for each burning stack removed. So pretty solid Refreshing Stream. He can already nuke with that move if he's in a burn comp, so that is really going to make a difference if you put that T8 on for sure. Here, he gains an accuracy increase, debuff immunity, damage increase for 2 turns, recovers 30% health. So they're adding the damage increase. And then if Ember is on the excuse me, if Ember is on the battlefield, she gains the same advantages. This T7 is huge. Accuracy increase for Ember's big. Debuff immunity on Ember and a damage increase. That is a really solid T7. Swift Water at tier 7 gains a 5% tenacity for each living panda in the party. Okay, I mean, I really would have liked to see more. Maybe incorporate the burn a little in there. Overall, though, Lake is there in a burn comp on that burn panda team to put out damage, and he's increasing his damage on his AoE. He's getting a little bit more, and then sharing all those buffs with Ember is absolutely phenomenal. Yogi. Now we're going to talk a little bit about Yogi too, because he had a rework in this, but what we'll do, why don't we just save Yogi till we talk about him. But I like what they did with Yogi, so we'll come back to Yogi. Over to Tromgar. His basic ability, 40% more physical damage and a 35% tenacity decrease chance. They are loving the tenacity decrease on a basic. So that takes it to 1 potency tenacity check. I would have really liked to seen the stun chance go up on this character, even if it was 5%, 10%, something like that. Really would have made a difference. Or, you know, maybe if You get more, like another percentage if there's orcs in the party. Kind of underwhelming to me, and meh. Second ability here, defensive stance. He gets a potency increase for 2 turns. Now, that is huge for Tromgar. Simply because here, that potency increase helps with the stun, so that is going to help him out greatly. His second wind gets the T7 and the T8. At first, removes all debuffs. So removes all debuffs. So he's going to remove the debuffs from him first. That is huge, so then those regenerations stick instead of trying to put on the regenerations, then removing. So I like the way that's worded. Then he gains at tier 8 1 regeneration stack and recovers shield equal to 20% of his maximum health, increasing his overall survivability. Second wind is now really nice. And then his veteran tactician, he gains 10% more physical armor, 40% magic armor, and 10% physical armor or damage. So that is nice. When he's in defensive stance, you got to keep that in mind. He gets the physical armor and magic armor increase, but he just had the physical armor, so this is a very good T7. I really like all of them. You know, the Shield of the People here, the potency increase, it's not the most best one, you know, of his skill. I would kind of do like his passive or his second wind here. Those two first, then his shield, then if I probably won't even do his basic, but that is overall they made some improvements to definitely increase his survivability and kind of make him better than he was. So alright, well done. Let's jump back over to the patch notes. Alright, Rune Campaign. Improved reward drops in new chapters for you to complete. Now, we're going to jump back over to my account real quick here. And we're going to go to the Runic campaign. And I was able to beat the Runic campaign. So we'll kind of talk about that. Now, the Runic journey. This is the only thing that really changed. Now, as far as campaign-wise, now you do get a chance to get a set of, get the 5-dot runes. We're going to kind of talk a little bit more about the 6-star runes and 6-dot runes and things like that, but they are available. What you got to remember about the runes is it's so RNG dependent. You get it, great. You might get this. You might get the northeastern rune, right? But it could have shield. That's not going to help you. That's not what you're looking for. So temper your expectations when it comes to that. My big problem with this now is, now I have 22,000 runic energy. So I'm on my account, so I can do this. If I was on the test server, I couldn't. But let's just do 50, right? 50 battles. Alright, I got a 5-dot rune here. Shield, armor, penetration, and health. That, for a speed rune, that's not what I'm looking for. But here's my big problem with this whole thing. Is we go back to home. There's still no delete button. I don't want any of those. Why can't I just delete them? Or sell them right from here? That really needs to come into the game, or they need to increase rune sizes. Because look at rune inventory full. It's just super annoying. Like here, I don't want any of these. I'm just waiting for them to go away, and then they disappear. Just give me like a delete or a sell button there, please. Experience chests has been removed from the game, and experience chest keys have been converted to rare crystal shards. Jumping back over to my account, I can kind of show you. People might have thought, oh, I'm getting screwed. This isn't bad. Champion, training chests are no longer. Since you had lots of keys for it, we exchanged it for crystal fragments. So I got 150 rare crystal fragments. I'm fine with that. I never use those training chests anyways. There's abundance of them in the game. So I left that mail in there so we could see it. So overall, I think that's a fine move, and I really have zero problem with it. New human faction battleground location background. Okay, I haven't noticed it yet, but awesome. Change the rewards and challenge of reason. Conqueror's Blade has been replaced with the flames on all levels. That is huge. Those blades, I have like 3,200 of them. I don't need them. And the flame that's a big one. That especially the more higher gear you go, you're going to need more of these addendums of flame. So that is a huge move. They changed the rewards for honing skills challenge. Green scrolls have been replaced with 1 blue and 1 purple. Okay, I'm fine with that. You know, giving out more blue scrolls earlier, fine with me. The one thing I did want to talk about, and we're going to jump back into my account, and in the Runic journey, they talked about Wukong shards. Now, I did beat it, and popping up on your screen now, you're going to see the rewards. It's 145 Wukong shards. That allowed me to take my Wukong to 7 stars. I think I needed 40 shards to get him to 7 stars, so I had like 105 extra. But this is the team I used, and so you can see the completion of it, or what team I used, and I can show you the gear on the characters if you really want to know. But I used a Thalane lead. I used Titania, Runic, Garrett, and Hard Orc. This isn't a heavy damage dealing team. You're going to have to manually fight them. You can't click auto. I have no gear 12s in this group whatsoever. I do have tier 7s on Hard Orc, and I got some gear 11 pieces on Hard Orc, Garrett, Titania, and Thalane, but it's a control team. I'm using the blinds. I'm using the ability blocks. Runic is there because I can put on the regenerations onto the team, so I'm passively healing. I can also revive. So I did have to restart the final fight once because I lost Runic, and then I went from there. But here's my Hard Orc. You know, I have 3 pieces on, but I do have T7s on everything but his basic. So not bad there. On my Garrett here, I have all the gear 11 pieces on him, and that is it. Currently running him at 213 speed, so it's not devastatingly fast. Potency is at 80%, and I still wasn't landing a lot of the blinds on the bigger bosses, but that was okay. I was able to beat it. Now on Thalane, I have 4 gear 11 pieces on, running her at 270 speed, so she has a lot of my primary runes on there. And then Titania, I have 3 pieces on, and I kind of got a mishmash there. I'm running her at 143 speed, but I got her health and shield combo up pretty high with some magic armor to help out. The last fight is a more doom fight. And then for Runic here, I have 1 gear 11 piece on, 241 speed, and I just speed. You just want her to go as fast as you possibly can. So that is there, and we'll jump over into my champions real quick. There's the Wukong. Got him to 7 stars. He is all set and ready to go. So yeah, pretty neat. Kind of like how they did that, but the only problem is if where else can you get him now? Right? They've addressed, okay, well now people who have had him for a while can get him to 7 stars. That might help people unlock him now. But where are we farming him from after this? This isn't going to get everybody up to 7 stars, so that is something I want to keep in mind. Bug fixes and optimizations. Optimize rune performance menu. So let's jump back over real quick into the account here. If I click the right button, and we're going to check out the runes. Now, when they did the runes before, I did like the way they had it set up. Now, as in more and more I use it, the more and more I really I didn't care for it. The sort, this group type, now you can take that off. Right? Now you can go back to the way it was, and that is how I like it, and that is so much better. They've improved summoning heroes menu, added more information about how many hero stones you are getting. That is a huge fix. And then other small fixes and improvements. Now, I've skipped over 6-dot runes. I'm not forgetting it. Trust me, we'll get there. We are going to jump over and talk about Yogi real quick, and the changes made to Yogi, and then we're going to talk about his T7s and 8s that he received. Okay. So now Yogi, at tier 6, he does his Sand Strike. Deals 250 magic damage to an enemy and inflicts slow for 2 turns, so 1 potency tenacity check. Now, if the enemy is poisoned, it increases the cooldown of a random ability by 1. That's really big. Okay, you're going to see a theme with him where he's not only turn meter manipulation, but cooldown manipulation. He has become a really interesting and fun character. At tier 7, he does more magic damage and the slow lasts for 3 turns. That's awesome. And then at tier 8, 1 more turn for increase of a cooldown. So if they've only taunted, right, and they're on a 3-turn cooldown for their taunt, if they're poisoned, you use your Sand Strike on them. Now it's going to take it to a 5-turn cooldown. That's huge. Very, very massive. So I love the cooldown manipulation. His Sandstorm, at tier 6, he deals 400% of magic damage to a target, reduces the duration of 3 buffs by 1 turn, and decreases their turn meter by 40%. Alright, so the main target, you got to make sure you're using this correctly, but the fact of the matter is, if they have Eric Shieldbreaker throws up his Rousing Cry and they have that debuff immunity up, he's going to use his Sandstorm. He is going to strip that off of the main target, so it can be a dispel as well. Really like the way that works. At tier 7, he does 80% more magic damage, reduces the duration of all buffs, which is huge, because before it was 3 buffs. Now it's all buffs. And then decreases turn meter by 60%, and then increases the damage dealt to all their enemies. Really, really solid T7 so far. Sands of Time at tier 6 decreases the cooldown of 2 different abilities of the target ally by 1 turn. Restores 50% turn meter. Reduces the duration of debuffs by 1 turn. Huge. Here he's giving him 65% turn meter and reduces the duration of all debuffs by 1 turn. I love the way this kit is reading now, and he is definitely more viable. Now at tier 6, at the end of the turn, Yogi, we gotta fix that, gains invisibility for 1 turn. Great for his survivability before, at tier 6, so that is awesome. At 100% health, instead, he gains one of the following: damage, potency, counterattack. If Salvador is on the team at the beginning of the battle, he gains invisibility for 2 turns. If Vorian the Trickster is in the battle, he gets the same benefit. Here, at tier 7, he gets invisibility for 2 turns. And he gets whatever buff for 2 turns. Really, really solid. Now, Yogi, I was able to playtest Yogi quite a bit. And I ran a team of, you can run a Nessa lead. This was on the test server. Nessa lead, Salvador, Vorian, Yogi, and who was the other one I was running? I can't remember. I was running Thanisa as my 5th because of the poison benefits, and I was just feeding Vorian turn meter, and Vorian can pump out some damage. Yogi is going to be viable. People are going to find ways to use Yogi in different ways. He's a passive dispeller now. He's turn meter manipulation. He's cooldown manipulation. I love it. I love what they did to his kit. Very, very interesting. Really well done. To me, this is an A change. I love it. You might not see the benefits right off the bat, but Yogi could now be a player in a lot of different things. So that is huge. Now, Nessa. Nessa has received a bit of a nerf, and that is fine. Pillar of Life, second ability. She gains 15% turn meter for each ally with full health, but no more than 75. Heals all allies by 400% of her magic damage and gives shield equal to 25%. Previously it was 100% of Nessa's magic damage. For each dazed enemy, previously was an additional 30%. They removed that. great. Nessa was bonkers good. She was buff. So I'm glad they nerfed it now before they release this champion, and then nerf her after you fought to got her. So this is nice. They listened to that feedback, and I'm happy and proud of them for doing that. Her Spirit of Cobra gives the shield to herself and an ally with the lowest current health equal to 50% of the magic damage for each poison enemy. Previously it was 100. Inflicts tenacity decrease. That all stayed the same. Again, overpowered. Just overpowered. So Mortha got a little bit of a rework. Ball lightning, her basic ability. Now additionally has a 50% chance to deal the shield piercing, which we talked about when we went over Mortha's kit. So yeah, I think it makes her a little bit better, but it doesn't really push her into the limelight. It's still going to be hard to put her on some of those orc teams. And we went over Calvin as well. So, okay. So now to the point where people probably wanted to see. New 6-star runes and an all-new rune chest. So let's jump back over to my game. So there's six-star runes in here. And I'm sure people probably are upset. Oh, it's going to... You know, one of the conversations was it's going to put more divide between the whales and the free-to-play. Well, guess what? There already was a huge divide. This doesn't make it any better, or any worse, or any better. Now, there, you see this? These 6-dot runes. You have a less than 2% chance. Oh, here it's a 5% chance. But still, if you want a gold one, it is 0.25, 0.75% chance. I got to give a big shout out to Warghoul, who is one of the premium testers in the test server. Roughly, he did all the math, figured it out. You would have to spend an ungodly amount of money to get one. So if somebody wants to go out, and I don't remember the exact equation, but it was like $4,000 or something bonkers like that. If somebody wants to spend that much money to get one 6-dot rune, go for it. By all means, go for it. Now, could you get lucky and pop one? Yeah, but so could anybody. There's a rune chest. So yeah, you could come in here and you could blow all these draw coins. But for that amount of money, if you want to do it, do it. There's no game out there where a Kraken can't get the best stuff at will. And that's what you have to be to get a 6-dot rune. So you have to be a Kraken. Now, like I said, you could pop a chest and you get one. Well, that's fine. But one 6-dot rune isn't going to make the difference in a fight. I'm sorry, it's not. So I don't want people freaking out about that. I really don't think it's that big of a deal. They've made 5-dot runes more accessible through the Runic journey. Perfectly fine. So I would have had a lot bigger problem with it if they didn't have the 5-dot runes become more accessible. So, I mean, you can get mad if you want, but I really have zero problem with it, and I have no issues with it at all. And yeah, I mean, the only issue I guess I really have is why are they in the game? What are we using them for? That's my problem. But as far as a divide between the whales and or Krakens and free to play, it's already there. And if somebody wants to spend that much money to get one, have fun. So, yeah. So there is the breakdown of 1.4.99. I really think this is a solid little patch. Now, the content that, you know, the new content of the Runic journey, all that stuff, you know, I got some new challenges to push forward in. Fine. I've already beat the Runic journey in the first day it was released. So, do I really consider it new content? kind of. But we'll see what happens. But overall, this was a good little patch. There's nothing I'm like want to pull my hair out over. There's nothing that I really strongly have a problem with at all. The Yogi rework to me is just really good, really fantastic. I want to... Now, am I saying rush out and gear Yogi? No, I'm not. Don't do that. But you're going to be able to play with them a lot more in a lot different spots. So with that being said, let me know what you think of this patch down below. And, yeah. I will see you on the next one. I love you. And I'm out.